As we bid farewell to the era of the DC Universe before James Gunn and Peter Safran's takeover, DC surprised us with a fresh trailer for the sequel of Aquaman. Yep, that long-awaited sequel to James Wan's underwater extravaganza is finally swimming our way, and it's going to be the last hurrah for the old DCEU before they hit the reset button with James Gunn's Superman Legacy. But wait, it seems like Jason Momoa's Aquaman might just have a ticket to the new DC universe. Now, if our buddy Arthur Curry wants to make that leap, he's got some unfinished business. Black Manta, the baddest of bad guys, is back for round 2. He's been itching for revenge since the first film, and he's not giving up easily. But that's not all. Aquaman put a ring on it and started a family. Talk about high stakes, right? So after Warner Brothers Discovery and DC Studios dropped a little teaser, they kept their word and delivered the full trailer. Like any good blockbuster tease, it gives us a tantalizing glimpse of what's in store. But there's more to uncover beneath the waves, so let's dive into this trailer breakdown for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. New prince in town. So let's rewind a bit to the end of the first Aquaman flick. Our guy Arthur Curry, aka the fearless Aquaman, finally embraced his destiny. You see, he's a bit of a mixed bag, being the son of a human lighthouse keeper and an Atlantean queen. But he stepped up and finally accepted his birthright. It was a big moment, because it meant he could potentially bring all the 7 seas together. Plus, he managed to mend his family too, reuniting his dad, Tom Curry, and his mom, Atlanta. Now, in the shiny new sequel, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, there's a surprise in store. Hold on to your tridents because there's a new member in the Curry clan. Yup. Arthur's not just the king of Atlantis, he's also a proud papa to a baby boy. Oh, and by the sound of it, he's a happily married man too. Presumably to his sweetheart Mara, you remember her, right? Life seems all rosy for Arthur and his crew, but here's the twist. Black Manta's back, and he's on a mission to mess up everything. He's got a grudge, and he's not about to let Arthur and his loved ones off the hook that easily. Moving on, you can add this to the list of the most unlikely team-ups. All right, let's talk about Arthur's new wingman to take on Black Manta. And it's a real curveball. Remember the first Aquaman movie? Sure, Black Manta was there causing trouble, but the real villain was King Orm, Arthur's not-so-friendly half-brother, also known as Ocean Master. This guy was all about taking revenge on Arthur because he thought Arthur's mere existence was a big no-no for the throne. He planned to wipe out the surface world and everyone in it. Not very neighborly, huh? But here's where it gets interesting. Arthur pulls out a family reunion card and introduces Orm to their long-lost mom, Atlanta. That softens him up a bit as he gives up the fight. So he spends a good 4 years cooling his heels in a desert prison made just for water-loving Atlanteans. Odd choice, I know. Now, here's the real deal. Arthur, for some reason, decides he needs Orm's help to deal with Black Manta, who's turned into a real pain in the gills. So he dons this snazzy cloaking suit and busts Orm out. Orm's not exactly thrilled about teaming up with the guy he's despised all his life. But hey, desperate times call for desperate alliances. They both love Atlantis, and Black Manta's turned into a monster that Orm kinda helped create. So, begrudging truce it is. Also, Black Manta looks as fierce as ever. Let's talk about David Kane, better known as the high-tech baddie Black Manta. He's had it in for Aquaman ever since our hero took down his pirate dad. They had this epic showdown where Manta rocked this snazzy supersuit and Atlantean gear from none other than King Orm himself. It was a close fight, but in the end, Aquaman sliced Manta's helmet in two and sent him packing to the ocean floor. Must have hurt like hell, to be honest. But as we all know, Manta's not one to stay down and out. He's been brewing up a plan for his grand comeback. And boy, does he come back with a bang in this installment. This time, he's not messing around. He's got a whole army of hammerhead shark-human hybrids on his side, and he somehow snagged this ancient artifact called the Black Trident. The funny thing is, it's more green than black. This Black Trident is no joke. Orm spills the beans about its history, dating all the way back to their ancestor, King Atlan. Even the wise old Atlanteans don't quite get all its powers, and that mysterious mojo might just be too much for Aquaman and his crew to handle. So, you can bet Manta's gonna make waves with this thing. All right, folks, let's clear the air about a big Aquaman 2 question. You've probably heard about the whole Amber Heard and Johnny Depp drama, right? It's been a real roller coaster with accusations flying both ways, lawsuits, and all that jazz. Well, here's the deal. The court found Heard liable for defamation in a pretty high-profile civil suit, but the court of public opinion is still kind of in a muddle. Now, because of all this mess, rumors were swirling that Amber Heard might get the boot or have her role in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom seriously downsized. But guess what? The trailer has finally put those rumors to rest. Amber Heard is very much in the sequel. You can see her in the thick of the action, taking on Black Manta alongside Aquaman. And if you look closely, you'll spot her hanging out with the Curry family in some of the outdoor scenes. So, there you have it. Amber Heard haters might not take this lightly. The culture of Atlantis. You know what's pretty cool about the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom trailer? It looks like we're finally going to dive deep into Atlantis's culture and its people. The first film didn't give us much of that because Arthur was a bit hesitant about leading his underwater crew, so a big chunk of the story stayed up on the surface. But in this sequel, things have changed. Arthur's taken up the crown and he's all in with Atlantis. The trailer gives us some sweet shots of what everyday life is like down there. And get this, it's not just a handful of Atlanteans. We're talking about 500 million folks from all kinds of races chilling beneath the sea, all under Arthur's rule. So, we're in for a deeper look into Atlantis this time around. Addressing the huge sea creatures, you bet Black Manta isn't the only baddie in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Just like in the first flick, there are some other troublemakers in the mix, but this time it's not your run-of-the-mill villains, it's giant sea monsters. And let me tell you, these massive underwater creatures are front and center in the trailer. What's awesome is that it looks like the creative team behind this sequel hasn't lost any of the magic from the first film when it comes to introducing new, jaw-dropping sea critters. So we can definitely expect the same level of imagination and visual awesomeness in Aquaman 2. Get ready for more underwater wonders. Return to the underwater coliseum. Oh, you remember that epic showdown in the first Aquaman movie, right? Orm and Arthur duked it out in this crazy cool place that looked like an underwater coliseum. It was one of the highlights for sure. Well, guess what? This trailer drops a little hint that we might be revisiting that iconic location. There's a scene where a bunch of pumped-up Atlanteans are cheering, and it looks a lot like that same Coliseum spot. So it's got us wondering if we're in for another jaw-dropping duel in this awesome setting. Fingers crossed for more epic underwater battles, more about the history of the Seven Kingdoms. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. The trailer gives us a sneak peek into the history of the Seven Kingdoms, which is pretty darn fascinating. We get these flashbacks to the time of King Atlan, and it looks like they're delving into how Black Manta's trident fits into the whole Atlantis and underwater kingdom's backstory. But that's not all. There's this intriguing shot towards the end of the trailer. It seems to be set during those historical flashbacks, and there's this gigantic, trench-like creature with some serious green magic mojo going on. So it's a sign that this sequel is all about digging deeper into the mythology of Arthur Curry's watery world. Can't wait to uncover more underwater secrets. The trailer makes it seem like the movie has a lot to offer. All we can do is hope that it's true. This brings us to the end of today's video. What are your thoughts on the trailer? Do let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, then please like and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next one.